Hey yo, football fans, it's another great year. Fantasy football fiends, grab your beer. Giving you the best draft tips for all your picks. Starts and sits to the waiver wire fix. From my drafts galore to stats that's hardcore. Triple F does it all, have y'all screaming more. So sit back, relax, let the experts prevail. JT Magnum, Ziggy Guns never fail.
What is up, fantasy football fiends? My name is Ziggy Guns, along with
JT Magnum.
And today, or this video, week 9, we're going to be talking about some waiver wire pickups and our studs, duds, and Papasan's sleepers of the week. And let's get right to it. JT, what we got on the QB side of things for the waiver wire pickups?
QB side, we have Jason Campbell and Kellen Clemens. I'm not going to waste anybody's time. I'm just going to say don't pick up any of them. Kellen Clemens sucked this week against Seattle. I know Seattle's secondary is amazing, but Kellen Clemens I don't know why they didn't run the ball, but that's it. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, that was a frustrating game. St. Louis had that game won. I still think that some fleck needs to go to the kicker, though. I know Zerline did all he could. I mean, he had all the points, but that missed field goal wound up being huge. I mean, they could have won the game.
Yeah.
The one thing I would say about Jason Campbell is that you're probably not going to need to pick him up at all. Hopefully you won't have to. But it does give you hope for guys like Cameron and Gordon again, who just looked like they were, back to being nothing with Whedon, and now there's some new life, especially for Gordon and Cameron. Cameron wound up finishing with 80 yards, so at least you know now that these guys might still be good going forward. They had a good game. If you don't want to take the risk, it's a good time to use them as trade bait. So we'll see how that works with Campbell, but I think Campbell gives him a legitimate shot to be good fantasy wise.
Yeah.
Running backs, what we've got this week?
Brandon Bolden and Daniel Thomas. Daniel Thomas seems to be the one that they're using a lot more in Miami. It seems like they just lost faith in Lamar Miller. Brandon Bolden is the guy. See, with New England, you never know what running backs you're going to get each week. It seems like you drop Stephen Ridley, they use him the next week. You drop Brandon, but it's like Bill Belichick is watching the waiver wire on fantasy football, so he puts in the other running backs just to piss people off in fantasy football. So I try to stay away from New England running backs because you never know just which one's going to be good.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I mean, the way it looks, since Bolden and Ridley did good, that means it's going to be blunt this week. That's what happens. Just when you think you have a handle of it, he throws that kind of curveball. And then Vereen is going to come back soon, so we might even need to be talking about him eventually, because apparently he's on track to get off of. I think it's at week 10 or something like that. But you might want to start thinking about if he did look good that first week, he probably would be the most polished guy, so we'll see. Wide receivers, what we got this week?
We have Kenny Stills from the Saints and Dexter McCluster, who's kind of like a running back hybrid kind of guy, but he's listed at wide receiver. So Kenny Stills, now, he's a guy that probably people should have picked up weeks ago, and he's been playing phenomenal football. He's been getting a lot of yards, a lot of touches, a lot of passes thrown his way, and with Drew Brees, it just seems like Drew Brees really seems to like this kid and throw it to him a lot. So I think he's well worth the pickup. Dexter McCluster, he gets a lot of screen passes from Alex Smith. Favorite thing that I like to talk about. Alex Smith just throws screen passes. And he gets a lot of quick slants. That's it. That's all you're going to see with Dexter McCluster, a lot of reverses. So I like him, but he's one of those hit and miss guys too. But he is explosive and can score, so I would definitely pick up Kenny Stills, though. He's well worth the pickup. He's getting a lot of targets.
Now, the Chiefs do play Broncos here like twice in the next few weeks, and I think Dexter McCluster will be a good pickup when they're playing that team, because it's either two scenarios. They're either going to be in control of the game, which I don't think they will, even though they have a good defense to do it, or trying to play catch-up. And like you said, he likes to dink the ball a lot, so Jamal Charles should have monster games. And I think McCluster will have a lot of screen, trying to move the ball, trying to get that offense going. And I think in turn that means he's going to have a lot of receptions and some yards going his way. And he did look to him a couple of times in the end zone, and he got a touchdown out of it. So I think McCluster might be a pretty good pickup whenever they're playing the Broncos for sure. Stills reminds me of Robert Meacham when, he was back with the Saints, just a speedy guy, run down the field and, get open and Brees would throw to you. We see what happened with Meacham with that. It's hit or miss. You look like a genius when you have him. You hit a 60, 70-yard bomb, and then all of a sudden you're happy. And then the next week he probably only has 3 catches for 20 yards because he couldn't get open. But Stills, I think, has a good potential because Brees likes to distribute the ball everywhere. So still worth the pick. And you're right, he is starting to look at him a lot. He's starting to produce. We'll see what happens going forward.
Yeah, for tight ends, we have Timothy Wright, and I think there's much better tight ends you can pick up in the league. If you look at your waiver wire, I know there's like 6 teams on a bye this week, so I'm sure people are looking for tight ends. If all the tight ends are hogged up, then sure pick him up, but I don't think he's worth the pickup.
I know a lot of people dropped some good tight ends last week for the bye, so there's probably guys like what's his name out of Tennessee that we talked about last week?
Delaney Walker.
Walker's probably out there, things like that. But, I mean, with Timothy Wright, yeah, I mean, Tampa Bay's offense isn't looking good unless you have Vincent Jackson. That's the only guy Glennon trusts. And Wright was there at the end, so, maybe he starts looking at him more. But, yeah, that's the only tight end we could talk about this because everybody else is just either picked up already. We already talked about those. So just scour the waiver wire. Hopefully you have some kind of decent guy. A guy like Cook might have been dropped, stuff like that. So just keep your eye peeled.
Yeah, for defenses, we have the Ravens and the Rams this week. We feel like they have the best matchups dealing with, Ravens are playing Cleveland, the Rams are playing Tennessee, and the Rams are playing actually really, really good defense. They shut down Seattle last night, actually, and, I really like the Rams defense, the way they're picking it up lately, but,
Yeah, the Rams defense has been playing awesome. I mean, they literally shut down Seattle. You look at that game, and yeah, Seattle won, but you look at the numbers. If somebody covered the scores, you look at the numbers, that defensive unit played real good. Baltimore against Cleveland, the reason why we picked the Baltimore, you could go either or. Last time they played each other was a low-scoring game, and Baltimore, we give them the edge because Campbell is still coming off of, just one start, and they tend to make mistakes, normally. So if you need some interceptions or sacks, things like that, or, fumbles even, maybe I bet in this game will probably happen. This is going to be, in my opinion, a low-scoring game, or it could be a high-scoring. I mean, you never know with these two teams, actually. It's funny. 1 minute they could be, 9-6, and then I remember a few years ago it was like 50-something to 48 or something like that. So certainly you don't want that on the defense, but I got a feeling it's going to be another tight one because it's going to be, they always usually play close, division rivals. Studs, duds, and Papasans of the week. What you guys are stud?
My stud of the week is going to be Eddie Lacy going for Green Bay against Chicago. Chicago's defensive line is completely banged up. And, I've been saying it for the last few weeks. People are going to be able to run against Chicago. And Eddie Lacy's been not doing just that against everybody else. So I think he's going to have a great game against Chicago.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because we saw Halou just tear it up against Chicago, and I could see that happening also for Lacy or even Starks. I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron Rodgers has such a big lead on this team that they might even throw Starks in there at the end and save the unit, the first unit. So that's a good one there. My stud week is going to be Pryor. For Pryor, he's an awesome quarterback at home, especially on the ground running, and they're playing the Philadelphia Eagles, who we don't know who the quarterback is right now at this point. We think it might be Nick Foles. We think it could be Barkley. We know it's not Vic anymore because he's hurt. And the Eagles tend to give up a lot of yards. They didn't really do that against the Giants, but, we'll go ahead and give them the home field advantage on that. They're playing in Oakland this time, and I got a feeling Oakland's going to light them up, in my opinion. And I think Pryor would be the one lighting him up, so I have him as my stud of the week. Who's your dud of the week?
My dud of the week is going to be Drew Brees. I think the Jets are going to have a really good day with him in the Meadowlands, and I call it the Meadowlands, but what is it, MetLife Stadium now? But I just think Drew Brees is a different quarterback away from home, and the Jets do have a really good defense, so I think they're going to bottle them up a little bit. I do think the Saints are going to win, but I think Drew Brees is actually going to have a low touchdown output, maybe 1 or 2 for him.
That's risky. That's risky. That's a good bold prediction. But I mean, as optimistic as I am about the Jets defense, what they did, the Cincinnati Bengals against them, they destroyed my Jets. I mean, it was 49-9. I mean, it was ridiculous. Now, granted, that wasn't Cincinnati, but I know that probably won't happen there at MetLife. But man, it looked demoralizing. So well, I don't know. My dud is going to be Stephen Ridley. Like we talked about earlier, we don't know who's going to be the running back this week. But even if he is getting the bulk of the carries, I don't see Pittsburgh giving up a lot on the ground. I also, I think, and I'm somebody that's been bashing Brady a lot lately on Twitter. I think Tom Brady's going to want to have one of those "I'm still here" games where he's going to throw for 300 yards and 5 touchdowns or something. He needs one of those, I think, for New England. And the only way he's going to get that is if they don't hand the ball over for these, short yardage touchdowns. So we'll see if Brady comes back soon, and I got a feeling it might be against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, for Papasans of the week, my Papasan this week is going to be Keenan Allen from the Chargers going against the Redskins. Redskins giving up a lot of pass yards per game, and I think San Diego coming off the bye is going to do real well with Rivers to Allen.
I can see that also. Mine is going to be CJ2K. I know Marshawn Lynch didn't do anything against the Rams, but, Chris Johnson has been coming off pretty good games the last few weeks. They've been using him a lot now in the passing game. So I think this is good for him because they know that his speed is still there. He showed it last game he played. He if he can find a hole either through running it or in a screen game, he's going to have a huge day, and I think that's something that the Rams can get exploited on in their defense. And I think that with Jake Locker back, I think it opens up the possibilities for CJ2K to go nuts. So I expect him to have a big game. So that's my sleeper of the week there.
Cool. And that does it for the Studs, Duds, and Papasans. So please leave any comments in the comment section below. Let us know who your sleepers are this week. Let us know if you need any help on your setting your lineups this week. And we do know there are 6 teams on a bye, so you might have a lot of questions for us this week. You can tweet us at Optimus Magnum or at Siggy V, and let us know everything, or let us know what you need for the week. All right. And last week I had a rough week. Some of my predictions last week went so south it was unbelievable. I mean, I got the win on my league, but man, some of my predictions were horrible. Marvin Jones, said not to pick him up. He scores 4 touchdowns. I had Josh Gordon as a dud. I actually sat Josh Gordon and he had like a big game. It was one after another. I was going, my predictions went south.
I don't even remember who I had as my dud.
Yeah, it was probably better than mine.
I think I might have had Stephen Ridley.
Man,
actually, you know what? My Papa Sons was Marlon Brown, right? Is that what I said? Oh no, that was that was the other guy.
I don't remember. A few weeks ago. I don't remember, Jones, but my goodness, I was having a rough fantasy outing. But we'll see what happens this week. We do take a lot of risk. We say a lot of players that a lot of people never really do say. So we'll see what happens this week. And that's it. You got anything to add?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Well, for JT Magnum and Siggy Guns, Fantasy Football Fiends, we out. Peace, y'all.